Alright, I am playing in the Penny Dreadful Sunday tournament with TurBOW Fog, which is a Turbo Fog deck that is playing 250 cards and Battle of Wits. Uh, so basically, there aren't that many Howling Mine effects. There's only like Font of Mythos, Temple Bell, and Howling Mine itself. And there aren't that many fogs either, but there are a few more of those. So basically I have to play like 60 cards that are actually pretty bad in the deck. Some of those cards are like Sleight of Hand, some are like 1 mana cantrips that do nothing else, mostly. And I have to play counter spells because there's nothing good. The sideboard is entirely a wish board for the Raven's Warning, Fae of Wishes, well just those two. So 4 mana tutor anything from there. Raven's Warning is probably a little bit worse. And then I have Idyllic Tutor to tutor cards in the main. My wish board is mostly like stuff that helps the normal plan, like fogs, like Fog or Wrath, a counterspell, Greater Oromancy, Solitary Confinement, some like Artifact Enchantment. I'm currently 2-0. In my first match I faced Glimpse and I lost game 1, and then in game 2 they timed out because they couldn't win because I had Rune Halo and a bunch of fogs, and they tried to go off. Well, they kept glimpsing when they couldn't win to try to make their board bigger. Or actually, they were removing the Rune Halo with some Angel. But they timed out doing that because they had way too many creatures getting made with a Pandemonium in play. And they timed out in game 2. Match 2, I faced Orgisav Greasefang. I won game 1, I lost game 2, and then game 3 I played an Enduring Ideal, and they played Vindicate, so I grabbed the Greater Oromancy first. And then I grabbed another one, and then a Solitary Confinement, and they had 3 Vindicates, but the third one they used on their own land accidentally, so they lost that match. So my wins have been kind of questionable. But I am 2-0, so we'll see if I can continue this. I do not have the previous 2 matches recorded because I had my hotkeys for starting and stopping the recording as 1 and 2, which I use a lot for Magic Online. So I was not recording most of it. Okay, this hand is pretty bad if fogs are bad. I don't know what my opponent is on. Soldiers. Okay, so fogs are good here. I do have Spell Pierce in the main, I think. So I will need to draw something. Perhaps Battle of Wits will get there. I don't have an actual Wrath to get off this. I only have Terminus, which is pretty bad with this. Okay, Thalia, that's really annoying for me, because I'm not going to answer that ever. So basically every card I play is going to cost 1 more for the rest of the game. Not sure what land I play. If I play Plains, I can put Urian in hand, and 4 mana doesn't help next turn. I think that's correct. Bring Urian in hand also doesn't really do anything, but it's fine. If I draw a tap land, this is bad, because then I can't Fae of Wishes on 5. I will need a Fog at that point, probably. Yeah, it is a little questionable how I'll win here, because if I try to play the bow while needing to Fog every turn, that's going to be way too expensive. I really wish I had something like Solitary Confinement right now. Maybe on turn 5 I can just play Fae of Wishes and my opponent won't have lethal. That's unlikely. But I am on the play. so maybe. They definitely don't have a turn fork lethal. Ideally, they'll just play a Boromir or something that doesn't put a lot of power in play. I could actually use Pollen Lullaby to buy an extra turn if I win the clash. Okay, this is the downside of Prairie Stream now. I am not going to be able to play Flame of Wishes, which is kind of just going to lose me the game. So yeah, I actually did get punished. Yeah, and Urian wasn't really important at all, so I probably should have done that. I do have quite a few tap lands in this deck. So I have Irrigated Farmland, I have Prairie Stream, I have Temple of Enlightenment, I have Study. How much is this? 8. I kind of want to let this go since I can't Five Wishes anyway, unless I draw a land. It's possible that if I win the clash with Lullaby that they still have lethal the turn after, on turn 6. I think I actually do let this go. I really need to win this clash. Or just draw a Solitary Confinement. Okay. Yeah, that was a really big misplay. Might cost me the game. Okay, so now I'm going to play the Lullaby. And play Fae of Wishes if I win the clash. If not, I just have to play more Fogs. And hope to draw something. It's possible that I lose anyway, because they just put a bunch of power in play. I don't know why they aren't attacking. That does actually play around the Lullaby though. Maybe they know about it. I am dead to a Spell Pierce. I think they play like 3 in the main. Okay, they don't Spell Pierce and I win the clash, but it doesn't really matter. Because that has Vigilance. They held that back. I don't know why they played around this. I guess, I mean, they weren't playing around Settle because they couldn't play that anyway. So I'm not really sure. Were they actually like playing around Tangle or something? Do they actually know my list? It's very strange to hold that back. So they need to put 3 power in play. So 2 creatures would be enough. 1 3-power creature would be enough. Using that next turn could be enough with 2/1. Or any 2-power creature. So they kind of have to do nothing. Like they can play a 2-power creature, but if they do more... Okay, they actually have nothing. They have something, I think, with Flash. I'm going to check their list. Okay, it actually looks like M-Dog doesn't play any Flash creatures, which means I think I actually do go for this. It's possible that it's not the same deck. I don't think I really have an option here. No Spell Pierce, of course. So what can I actually do here? Solitary Confinement does something for a Chime. Teferi's Moat is actually interesting, but might not actually work. So Confinement requires me to find a bow, or a card draw engine. Can I actually get Font of Mythos? So if I find bow, I need to get 2 more lands to be able to hold up a fog. With font, I only need 1 more land. And untapping with it kind of just wins because I can just play fogs, and that's going to win eventually. I actually do like font. Solitary Confinement. I can wait to use it until after I've used my fogs. And then I can still dig for stuff. I think it's font. And hope I draw land at some point. And hope they don't have a flash card in their deck. I don't think the Dominaria United card is legal. The Resolute Reinforcements. That's a Raise the Alarm, but it's a human. Or one of them is a human. Maybe both. So to get lethal, they would need 2 anthems. Actually, flowering plus any human would be lethal, but that's not really possible unless they have a land, and it probably has to be a white land. Okay, again, they aren't attacking with the lieutenant. Not sure why. I don't have anything up because they have Thalia. Sky Strike. That can draw some cards. So I really just need to find a land and for them to not... Okay, there's a land. If I have Spell Pierce, I lose anyway, so I think I will not play around it. So I will Angel Song on upkeep anyway, I guess. It doesn't really matter if they have Spell Pierce, the Font of Mythos, plus Fog just doesn't work. Actually, I don't think M-Dog even plays Spell Pierce in the main. So I'm just never gonna play around it. Game 1. So I think I can actually just play Font, play Holy Day, and that just wins. I don't think they have any Artifact Hate, I don't think they have any Spell Pierce in the main. So I think they actually do just lose to Font of Mythos plus Fog. Out of time, I could do that instead. The question is, why? I will just do this. I will upkeep again, because I actually can beat Spell Pierce now, but I don't think they have it, and I'm not really going to play around it unless there's no cost. Like right now, there's no cost. But if there is a cost, I'm just not going to play around it. They don't draw the other card? Or can they not? They could have. Okay, so they're gonna draw 3 cards, and I don't think any of their cards matter because it's just pressure. I have like Boromir, that doesn't do anything. Yeah, they really just don't have anything that matters, I think. Because it's really just Spell Pierce and Artifact Hate that matters. I don't think they have any of those. The only way I lose is if I don't find anything off the font. But that actually might not matter because I have Fae of Wishes. So winning game 1 is pretty huge. I think I would kind of just lose to the aggro plan plus Spell Pierces. This doesn't seem like a great matchup, but that's probably every matchup when you're playing a deck like this. So I will just cast Holy Day and then return Fae of Wishes. I might have to go for the Out of Time, which can't really lose. It would only lose to Enchantment Hate or Flash or Haste, which they don't have. And they probably don't have Enchantment Hate. They probably don't have Flash. Forgot to use the Holy Day, it doesn't matter. Even if they had Ice Pierce, it wouldn't work. They would need 2. They could have removal. I don't think they actually do, though. Guess I keep Dig. It's actually 2 mana. And is pretty good at finding a fog. So basically I just need Confinement and the game ends. Or I just go for Bow right now. Though I will need to find a fog to do that. So Out of Time is really just a fog because they're gonna put enough power in play to kill me next turn. Since I've been drawing them so many cards. Okay, there's the Confinement. I guess I should have played Dig first. It doesn't really matter. Guess I'll go Land, Fog. And I'll play the Thawing Glaciers because it doesn't actually remove a card from my hand. Not that it really matters when I have the font. And another one even if they have removal. It is just over already, I think. I think just these 3 cards are enough to win, or just these 2 cards even. I guess I will skip forward until this game ends then. Okay, they conceded pretty quickly. I don't have a sideboard, so no need to bother with that. These next games are going to be tough, I think. They have a pretty fast clock, and Thalia is really annoying actually, because what I need to do is, once they have lethal every turn, I need to play a fog every turn, and play Battle of Wits or something while playing a fog every turn. And if they have Thalia, that's kind of impossible. I do have some other ways of winning, and some cards are like Bow, like Font of Mythos, and even Howling Mine to an extent. This is good, I think. Ivory Tower is not great. Okay, so my plan is just going to be to Wrath and hope that buys a few turns. Actually, I should have played the Ivory Tower on turn 1, I think. Maybe not. Yeah, I probably should have. It gains life at basically no cost, because I'm not going to play the Companion here anyway. So I kind of just missed 3 life for no reason. Which could definitely be relevant. Okay, next turn, I might just put Yorion in hand, because Companion doesn't do a whole lot, and Yorion is better for the tower, but I do need to find a land drop, but if I don't find a land, I will just play the Companion. Right now, Teferi's Moat is looking pretty good. I don't know if they actually play Enchantment Hate. They probably play Requisition Raid in the sideboard. I'm not sure. Probably not yield to that because they could have upkeep stuff. I don't think I actually do though. Now I'm just going to play the Howling Mine. I will check the list. It looks like they play 2 Requisition Raid. That might be dependent on the list though. Like that might be a more recent thing that M-Dog is doing, playing less Requisition Raids. But 2 is interesting. There's not very many hate cards. So it actually does seem like I could Teferi's Moat, although Spell Pierce is definitely a huge problem. And I actually am going to have to go for a Wrath here, or just lose if I don't find a land. So that is going to be a problem. I can block 4 damage. They can't do that. So I'm taking 5, maybe a little more. Thing in the Ice is not going to flip that quickly. I think I want to go Companion, see if I can find a land for Thing. I'll probably play Brokers regardless though. Okay. I would like to find lands. I'd also like this Wrath to resolve. So I kind of just lose to Spell Pierce. I might lose to Thalia. I do have 2 draws still to find either a Fog or a land. I'd really like to get to this Knight Captain of Eos. I'm probably just dead to Spell Pierce though. Use the Horn. Wait, is that? This actually could be a lot of damage. If they would have played a human first. And that would have been 2 extra. That would have been 1 off lethal still. I didn't play a land though, so they actually could have played land, 2 humans, Horn of Gondor for lethal. They also did not use that. It doesn't really matter how much damage they do. If they get an attack and again, they're just gonna win. Wrath. Okay. So I just lose to a Spell Pierce regardless. Teferi's Moat is really good, potentially. So I think it's Wrath. If I play Teferi's Moat and they play 6 power worth of flyers, they have to actually have that. The only mono blue creature is a flyer, I think. Sky Strike Officer. I don't know if they can do that, but they could have Requisition Raid, which I'm a little afraid of. I don't think it ever matters whether I play Dam or Wrath. I'll probably play Wrath because Disdainful Stroke is more likely than Prohibit. I think I just go for the Wrath and hope. I mean, if they have a Spell Pierce, it just doesn't matter anyway. They have it, yep. I mean, I was close. If I had a Fog, I could have potentially drawn another land and then had 2 extra mana with the Wrath. Lavinia also doesn't get pierced. And also gets blinked by Yorion. So I do have some things to do. And I am on the play now. So this gets a lot better. Okay, game 3. This hand is not good. It would be good if I drew lands. It's actually very good if I draw lands. 3 mana Wrath, Font of Mythos, Lavinia, which gets around Spears. Yeah, this hand is really good if I draw lands. And I have around 25 lands in this deck. I think I'm playing 103 out of 249, which is, I think it's a little less than 25. I do not have, so I have mostly white lands. I think I have like 40 plains. So if I have like 60 blue sources, then I can expect to find one every 4 draws, which is... If I find a plains before that, I'm not missing a land drop. How likely am I to win if I mull is the thing. I would need to find a functional hand. I would need to find something like a Font of Mythos. Probably. This hand is really good if I find lands, so I'm gonna keep. Repeal is good at stalling. Doomscar is amazing. It's just a 3 mana Wrath. Lavinia is a stall that doesn't get pierced, though I mean you could just play a Fog, but it does get blinked. Font actually is a win con. I mean, it's kind of the only card that actually, wins if I resolve it. Ruined Halo, I will wait with that. Probably just name whatever they play here, or repeal it if I find a blue source. Thalia would be really bad for me. Kinda looks like Thalia. That is a problem. I need them to play a 1-drop, and for me to find a blue source. A white source is not terrible. I don't think I named the Thalia. It only has 2 power, and I might just Wrath it away if I find another land. Okay, I'm gonna actually play the Wrath if I draw a land, because there's a good chance they have Spell Pierce. Well, they actually can't play Spell Pierce, but there's a good chance I have Spell Pierce, so if I try to use it later, it'll just get countered. This is a problem. I think I do name Thalia now. They attempt to Spell Pierce it, which would not be correct even if they could do that. So I don't know what they're doing. Like, there is no reason to go for the Spell Pierce here when they could try to use it on a Fog or Wrath instead. I just don't think it's at all worth using on a single target removal spell. But they did give up some pretty valuable information. Unfortunately, I don't really have a way of playing around it, so it doesn't really matter. It probably just means I'm dead. Like, I might as well just concede to them tapping the island. And Wrath does not work. I would like to repeal that. So they have 7 damage, probably going to be more than that. Out of Time would be interesting. That is really bad. I am just dead, I think. Yeah, I mean, I took a risk and it didn't pay off. If I could play the Out of Time here, then I was actually in a pretty good position, I think, because Thalia wasn't active. I mean, I would have needed a blue source. That double Spears, yeah, I was not close to winning. I mean, that makes Spell Piercing this more reasonable. I still think it's pretty incorrect, though. But yeah, I'm 2-1. I probably need to win the next round to make it into top 4. Alright, round 4, I am facing Enduk. I'm currently 2-1. If I lose, there is a chance that I make top 4, but it's not likely. If I win, I am guaranteed to make top 4. I believe my opponent is on Oops All Lands, which Could be a problem. I believe they're playing the desert version. This is not good. So I believe they're playing the desert version. Which means that I can't just play a fog. Yeah. So this means I need to play a fog that stops damage from lands, which is not very many of them. Riot Control works. But it's 3 mana, which is not going to be fast enough. If they were playing the other version, I could just play regular fogs. They can cast Shardless now. No More Lies would be great. Temple Bell would do nothing unless my opponent misplayed. I mean, they know I have it. It's very easy to play around. And even if they don't know, they shouldn't be hitting their entire deck. So they go Shardless. So they need to mill the thing. They did not mill the Primal Surge. So they're going to put a lot of deserts in play. And I'm just going to concede. Okay, so they could be on Calibrated Blast next game, which also gets stopped by some of the fogs, but not most of them. I don't think they're on the other version. See, I really just need to get the right fogs. Riot Control would be really good. Doesn't really beat Calibrated Blast. I'm not sure if I can really beat that. This is okay. So, I have Ruined Halo for Blast and Forbid for the regular deck, but I do need to find a land, which could be an issue. My entire goal, okay, I just win, I think, no. This is actually a problem. I can't actually forbid unless I draw an untapped land. I do need an untapped blue source. Hopefully they're on a calibrated blast. They do not have an untapped land. I'll just hold that. I mean, the deck thinning doesn't really matter, but... Okay. And if they're on the regular version, they just lose. If they have Calibrated Blast, I just win with Ruined Halo once I realize they're on it. Okay. I don't think I can lose. Like, unless they're on the fair deck with field. I could also lose to field despite them being on Calibrated Blast. It doesn't seem very likely though. Since I can just grab Bow. Hopefully they'll reveal what they're on so I can play cards. Though it is definitely in their best interest to not do that. See if I can get them to play a Blast. I don't think they can ever answer a Runed Halo if they're on Blast. Hexproof. That actually... So they have the... So the Desert Plan also plays... Alright, my dogs were barking. I'm just gonna counter this and win. Without buyback because they don't have any of their spells. So now I just need to enter field. So I'm not sure if Orbs beats the regular plan. Because they also play Westfell Abbey and Kessig Wolfrun. So they probably can still get lethal, even though I stopped the deserts. It is funny that this stops Calibrated Blast though. And we'll just get Bow now. I don't think they can do anything, just put 2/2s in play. So I will just play the Battle of Wits and win the game. I don't know what they're trying to accomplish here. I guess they just hope I don't play Battle of Wits for some reason. There's no way a land can kill an enchantment, I think. Okay. So they did not change their plan. It's interesting. I probably actually want to play Forbidden because I'm not gonna be able to wish for anything. Angel's Grace as well. Maybe. Wait, Angel's Grace. I can actually find out Fey Wishes. It also doesn't necessarily win. Because if they put a bunch of deserts in play, they just play another desert next turn. So I need to gain life and fog the Ormondal. Which could be like a riot control. Nevermore should be in the main, I think. Maybe Confinement as well. But I can actually tutor for that. No, I can't, I don't think. So if they don't side in Calibrated Blast. So if they do, what do I want to get? I want Solitary Confinement. Actually, I want Nevermore the most. Actually, I can side out a Runed Halo as my wishboard target. And then just side in this, side in... I'll leave that in there. Does anything else matter? I thought about something dead. Lavinia? It's probably something worse. Detention Sphere, it's zombies, I guess. I mean, I guess I just side out Lavinia. Radioromancy does nothing because they can't answer enchantments. I guess I'll side out 2 of those. Okay. So, yeah, so the sideboard can do something if you can't wish for anything in time ever. I guess Nevermore also does nothing against the Shardless plan because, I mean, how often are they not going to have it on 3? I mean, it's probably correct for them to not side out the Shardless because, I mean, I'm playing so many cards that it's kind of hard for me to actually be able to answer it. Okay, this is interesting. So Riot Control stops everything they could do. Solitary Confinement does too, but I can't play that yet. So I need to get to Riot Control, which is probably not going to happen. Basically, okay, they played a red land, that's good. They need to not have the mana to cast their Shardless. Volcano is pretty good at preventing them from having it. They play a, okay, so they either need an untapped green source or untapped blue source. And they're always going for it. They're never playing around No More Lies, right? But I won't play the companion because it doesn't really matter. They don't have the untapped green or blue source. So I actually think I win. Though, if they just do nothing for a while, I will need to have an answer to the field plan. I imagine they're playing Shardless still. Maybe they're actually playing Blast. Shardless? Blast, okay. So they actually did side that in. Okay, I mean, if they just had Shardless, then it wouldn't have been over because after I... Okay, so I actually would get a ton of life from Riot Control, but they would have Ormondal, which I could potentially do something about with, like, Moat, but that's flying, right? Confinement is something, but I don't really have the ability to do that, but they didn't do that, so... So I need to worry about Calibrated Blast and the field. If I draw a Temple Bell or Howling Mine, I just win because they can't beat Confinement. Unless one of their expensive cards actually deals with it, which is unlikely. Okay, that's actually pretty good here. They probably just blast me and threaten to kill me the turn after. They do not have an untapped land, but they could just have another blast, which they probably should play right now if they have it. The information doesn't do anything because I'm just going to attack first regardless. I mean, there's really no reason to wait, so I imagine they don't have it. I actually can just play the Confinement here because I'm going to get the card draw thing before I run out of cards. Oh, no, actually... Well, no, because I can play the Spirited Companion. So they have... Blinkmoth. They have Blinkmoth, Shadow of Mortality, and 2 lands. One of them is a hidden land. They already have a hidden land, which they can't actually use right now. They can actually flash back the blast. Next turn I can go Companion Rune Halo. So right now I'll just do nothing, I guess. I could put Yorion in hand. Maybe that's better than Heliod's. Yeah, I actually think I do win this. If they had turn 3 shardless, they would have just won. I don't think they should have. And like they might have won if they went turn 4 shardless. I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't think they should have sided out with the shardless plan because I'm just playing so many cards, and I mean they might expect me to have like phantom interference. But like with so many cards, it's kind of unlikely that I have a hate card. So I don't know. So yeah, I will just go companion into Rune Talo. Actually, no, I'm going to go. So if I go Rune Talo, then they have the deserts, which doesn't work because I can play Heliod's. But I don't think there's any reason not to just go for the confinement. So I'm gonna put Font of Mythos on top. And then just play the confinement. Next turn I'll play Spirited Companion. Then I'll draw the font. And then just win. The only possible answer is a large card that somehow deals with enchantments. What would they have? I don't think it really could be anything. They have Autochton Worm, Shadow of Mortality, and then they have potentially 6 more sideboard cards. 7? No, wait, 3 more sideboard cards, which are, they have to be 12 mana. And none of the 12 mana cards interact with enchantments, so yeah, they are just dead to this. They did not know about my way of, mitigating this and having to sack it after discarding my hand, and they didn't know that I could actually draw the next card, so I don't think they should have conceded there, but I mean, it's pretty likely that if I play this, I know I can win. Alright, so I'm going to be in the top 4 now. Alright, I made it to top 4. I believe I am facing mono red. I believe they're on mono red. I think they're on some kind of burden deck, which is a little bit terrifying for this deck because most of my fogs just stop damage and I really need to actually gain life. This is a good hand. I imagine they don't have pop. I don't know what to name with Nevermore. So I have turn 5 bow. Well, no. That's a turn 6 bow. Regardless. I mean, unless I have temple bow, I guess. What else could I get? There's Heliod's for life gain. Okay, solitary confinement. If I can somehow make that a viable option. Raven's Warning is actually pretty annoying for my opponent, I think. This is bad here. So, Raven's Warning, actually it's not that annoying. They have 3 mana, they can play Burst Lightning and still have 2 mana. I don't think they really have any good 3 mana plays. They might have the, Sulfuric Vortex. I don't think Nevermore really does anything. I could just blind name Burst Lightning, but there's a good chance they just don't have whatever I name. Burst Lightning is the card that I know they have a 4 of, but I mean, I can't play it instead of Raven's Warning, and they'll use it on the Raven probably, if they have it. unless they have a really good 3-mana play. So I play the Raven here. Probably play Wrath next turn. And hope I can win off whatever I find, which is probably Battle of Wits. I try to go Wrath, and then Nevermore Burn Spell plus Holy Day. Possibly on the same turn I bow. I'm not sure how much damage they can get. Hopefully they just play burn spells here. Actual shock. Okay, Rune Tailor would be good. I am just going to Wrath this. They're going to put me to 13. It's gonna be close, I think. It really just depends on their hand. It doesn't really matter what I do. Actually, I mean, if I draw something for Solitary, that could be good. But I don't think I can even... Like, I'd have to draw something to actually play Solitary next turn. And if I get a card draw, then Solitary never does anything. I am going to play the basics first, even though I don't think my opponent will have pop in the main. Okay, that's good for me. On turn 4, that's a bit late for Kumano to be aggressive. They aren't playing anything, so that's good. So I can get Bow. It's pretty unlikely that they can actually kill me before then. There's not really another good option, I think. So I am just going to get Bow. Temple does nothing here. I will just Nevermore. I probably Incinerate in response or something. That means they don't have Incinerate, I think. I'll just name Burst, because that's certainly a 4 of. And they wouldn't really want to play it yet, because they could potentially deal 4 damage with it. So they have reason to not have already used it. They have no burn spells, that's really good for me. So I never Holy Day this turn. Basically, I'm just saying you aren't going to deal combat damage next turn. Can you deal enough damage with combat damage this turn, plus burn damage this turn and next turn? And I think the answer is they are not going to get 12 damage. So this is 9. They have to deal 9 damage with 3 cards, and they can't be haste creatures. So yeah, this should just be a win. I think I was on the play, right? Yeah, that definitely helped. Play the Bow, and they should just be dead. They actually have pop, okay. It's a good thing I played around it. I mean, I played around it a little bit, not that much. I mean, I guess I kind of had to do this, though. And I could have played Temple the turn before, and then I still would have had to play the Fortress. Okay, I win. Unless they can prevent combat damage with a Skullcrack. Hopefully I didn't summon that to their hand. Okay. I don't know if people are actually playing Skullcrack this season, but it would be really good against me. Teferi's Moat is great here. It doesn't actually matter that much because I kind of need to just gain life to beat the burn. Ivory Tower is actually good here if I can actually gain life off it, which is kind of difficult because you kind of need to actually have a full hand to gain life off of it, which is not easy. And like you kind of have to be playing cards It definitely helps that you have Yorion, and if you can hit like Clay-Fired Bricks and Spirited Companion, it is a lot easier to get cards in hand. Thawing Glaciers is also good with it. So I will definitely Nevermore the pop if I draw Nevermore. I might Ruined Halo it if I don't really need to Nevermore, or Ruined Halo a creature. Alright, game 2. I'm on the draw, so I kind of expect to lose this game. Orbs Avoiding is really good. Does not stop pop, but it does stop all the other burn spells, and is decent against creatures. Solitary Confinement is a great way to actually win, because it kind of just wins the game on the spot if I have a Howling Mine in hand. They could have Artifact Hate though. This hand is something. I could get rid of Temple Bell. I think it's Nevermore. I don't have Double White, and I would rather play Heliod's when I get Double White. Okay, they did mull to 5. And they might mull more, or keep a bad 5. Okay, so it is annoying. Any deck with Howling Mine is kind of going to be... Like, your opponent can't really stumble when you have Howling Mine, because even if they get mana screwed, like, you're just going to draw them lands with Howling Mine. If they even if they like mull to 4, it doesn't really matter because they're just going to draw a bunch of lands, which makes it less of a difference. Like, you really want to trade down, or like, you want to trade down when your opponent has less cards than you. But this just kind of, I mean, like 1-for-1's up, kind of. Like, you both get the same amount of stuff. I mean, it's less than that because your opponent actually gets more than you because you spent a card on the Howling Mine. No need to complain about your draws. I'll give you lands. Alright, so No More Lies can counter a pop or something. I would like to hold that up, but like, it does suck that I have to play Howling Mine here when my opponent missed their second land drop. But, I mean, I'm gonna miss land drops too, and I'm just not doing anything. I might have refrained from playing it if I had another land. I would have just played Temple Bell first instead, so I could get Orbs of Warding before drawing them cards. They actually missed the land again. Interesting. They did say they're playing 20 lands, which is a little less than Red Deck usually plays, I think. Okay, so Temple Bell would be nice. Okay, I did draw the land. See if 2 more draws is enough for them to find a land. I really want to get to this Orbs, preferably with basics. I really just want to find lands. I mean, Solitary Confinement would just end the game. Even if they had Artifact Hate, they would need 2 of them. Okay, that doesn't... Okay, I thought I messed up, but no. They already played a land, so it doesn't matter that I gave them a card here. I am 1 turn off Orbs. Right now I might just play Holy Day. I might Temple Bell to see if I'm going to find a land for Orbs. If not, I might want to hold the Holy Day. I do have Idyllic Tutor in the deck, right? I've actually never seen it, I think. I can't recall ever actually finding an Idyllic Tutor, but it is a 250 card deck. Yeah, there are some cards that I see all the time despite being, they're all 4s, but I see some cards, I've never seen some cards, and then I've seen some cards like at least 5 times. Like Holy Day. I mean, it's possible that I just forgot to put a card in the deck. I did have Sky Hussar in the deck last time, which I definitely did not intend to put in. It was probably supposed to be something else, which means I actually forgot a good card. Hopefully it wasn't too important. So I would rather play the Holy Day here, but Riot Control is more mana efficient. It also doesn't really matter if I'm stopping non-combat damage because I have Orbs of Warding next turn anyway. So I think I do just play the Riot Control. And I think this is just going to be game. I just play the Orbs and don't play any more non-basics after this. And that should just be game. They do have 2 damage right now, but I will be able to stop that. And I can grab Solitary Confinement off the Fae. I could actually just do that right now. And play the Holy Day. No, because yeah, I don't really like that. I could play Bow. I am not opposed to that. They have 6 damage here. They need 11 damage and 4 mana. Pop is 4. I don't see how they possibly beat this. Yeah, how do they beat this? Pop? Double pop doesn't do it. Pop is only 4. Can they do more than 1 mana for 3 damage? They would need, and even if they did like pop plus 2 of those, that would be 10 damage. That wouldn't even be enough. Rights. Okay, rights is actually interesting. I don't know if that's even legal this season, but it would just be lethal. No, I'll just go for Bow. I mean, yeah, if I lose this match because I didn't play Orbs, then that'll be sad, but I think this should just win. So they could have, like, I don't know, the Elemental. 1 mana, 3/1 trample haste. Why would they have that, though? I wonder if any actual bolts are legal. We might have Rift Bolt. We might have the Skewer the Critics. I don't think we do, but 4 of those would win. 3 of those and a Burst Lightning would win. With exact lethal, I think. So yeah, they kind of need something insane like that. They need 3 actual bolts and a Burst Lightning or Rights. Or some other anthem. But even if it's like 3 mana plus 2/+0 to your board, they need 3 damage and 1 mana after that. So they are just dead, I think. Unless they have actual bolts. Skullcrack, wow. They actually have Skullcrack. So if I just held up Holy Day, I would have lost. If I played Orbs of Warding, they could have stopped that, but I would have survived still, for sure. I'm not sure if I would have won, though. I did have Heliod's. Yeah, so Bow was actually the best play because of Skullcrack. I actually didn't even think of that at all. Alright, the finals of Penny Road Full Sundays with TurBOW Fog against Orzhov Greasefang. I won last time we faced, kind of. But only because my opponent vindicated their own land. I did not record that match. That was match 2. We'll see if my opponent can make up for their misplay, or if I'll actually win this time. I like this hand. It's okay. Has Wraths, which are answers to their combo. But if they play another Greasefang, then they attack for lethal. This hand is pretty resilient to Bat, which is an upside. It's pretty even in terms of card quality. I think I cycle Hyro. Normally in this kind of position, you always wait, but this deck is pretty bad at doing that. Maybe I should have just waited. I could Yorion. Yorion is more mana efficient, I guess. And I actually care about it if this thing survives. Corpse turn, they find the Greasefang. They do not put a vehicle in the yard. Angel's Grace is probably the worst fog in the deck here. Because other fogs are, they stop everything. but that one doesn't. It doesn't even beat Kaya. Because I just go to negative health and then just die on my turn. And every other fog actually just stops everything. Next turn I will just play Yorion if they do nothing. They find another Greasefang probably. They actually find the Informant, which means they probably have a vehicle in hand that they want to discard, and did not have a discard outlet for previously. They just activate the vent though, so maybe they don't have a vehicle. I will just play the Yorion. It does prevent some damage from the Parhelion. It actually kills an angel and blocks again in a future turn. So it's actually a really good tempo play. Despite this deck being incapable of winning with attacks, pretty much. I don't think I've won a single game by attacking my opponent to death. Like, I've never reduced my opponent's life total to 0. They've all either been won through BOW or... I don't think I've ever actually decked an opponent out, but I've threatened to, and people have conceded because of that. But yeah, those are the only 2 actual win cons. Aside from timeout, which I have done. Okay, so they get Sky Sovereign, which is kind of better than Parhelion here. Yeah, it actually is just better than Parhelion. Like, it does 3 less damage, but it actually kills the Yorion. Yeah, I think it's kind of close. I think it is better, though. Just because of Yorion. They probably can do it again next turn if I Wrath. I think I will just Fumigate. I have so many Wraths. And if I don't Wrath, they're just still gonna... It's just even easier for them to do it. So there's really no reason not to Wrath. I could have played the Fae of Wishes instead. The only thing that actually matters here is the BOW, I think. Confinement doesn't work here. I can answer that. I discard a Wrath. They probably don't have Spectres, but I like Fumigate more than a regular Wrath. Okay, they put it in the yard. Or they put the other thing in the yard, the Parhelion. Probably just the Sky Sovereign. They actually put neither in the yard, interesting. So I go D-Sphere and can't do anything after that. Unless I find a land. Okay. So I can go D-Sphere the Kaya, Fae of Wishes, for something. Could be Font. It's either Font or BOW. Those are really the only things I can get. I think it's always BOW because I have Angel's Grace. No, but Angel's Grace doesn't even win necessarily. Or yeah, because I remove the Kaya, it does. So I will just get BOW. Because I can play it and then Angel's Grace. And if they don't have Kaya or something, that wins. But it actually can lose to Kaya, because they can put me to 1 and then Kaya me to negative life. They can't win here, I don't think. But yeah, I actually lose to a Kaya because of Angel's Grace. This really needs to be an actual fog. That's so annoying. Oh no. Okay, that's actually not that much of a problem. They actually didn't put a vehicle in the yard, which means they can't Greasefang unless they have a 1-mana way to discard, or land plus a 2-mana way. See, I don't know why they discarded Path instead of the vehicle. Though they are going to... Oh, okay. So they are not threatening lethal. They're putting me to 10, and then they have 6 power. They go Grease Fang discard. That's lethal, but they can't Kaya with that. If they Kaya, they put me to 2. And so yeah, I don't think I can die unless they have Vindicate, which is not unlikely. I am probably just dead to a Vindicate, because they can't vent unless they land, but that would put me to 4. And Wrath would stop lethal unless they had Grease Fang plus a way to discard. Yeah, they have Vindicate. Yeah, that's easily the most annoying card in the matchup. I just really don't like Enchantment and Artifact hate. So I go Wrath, Spirited Companion. Okay. I should have tapped on Island, but it doesn't really matter, I don't think. I should not have revealed that. Actually, I should have played Wrath. That was a terrible play. I definitely needed to play Wrath first. Yeah, I'm dead too. Grease Fang, I don't think I can really play around that. They actually win if they have nothing. Because I can play a Bow and hold up Angel's Grace. So, I do need to do something. I mean, it could just be a removal spell on this. They could just play a discard outlet for 4 mana or less. They play Kaya, that's also bad. Can I do anything about this? Probably. Wait, actually, I can't play Bow. I have to actually pay 4 mana for granted. So I have 3 mana after Fae. Yeah, Angel's Grace being terrible is a problem. So with 3 mana, I can not do anything. Ivory Tower does nothing. I can play Heliod's for 1. But that doesn't work against Shambling Vent. I have to go Temple Bell. And hope. What can I even get here, though? Has to be life gain or an answer to Kaya. That is life gain. It is probably not going to do anything. It actually does do nothing, regardless. Because they can just attack with 2 vents. And that just wins. 2 vents plus Kaya. Angel's Grace does nothing about that. Yeah, Vindicate is just so annoying. They actually don't have lethal anymore. No reason to play Angel's Grace. It doesn't do anything. I guess that means they have something. Yeah. Okay, this is not going to be easy. They have Vindicate, they have Hand Hate, they have a decently fast clock. Yeah, I'm just so weak to Vindicate. And they probably have more Artifact Enchantment Hate in the sideboard. I'm not exactly sure what they would be playing. It's not really a deck that wants Requisition Raid. I don't know if they're playing Heliod's. A lot of people aren't, even though they probably should be. This is something. I guess I keep both fonts and get rid of Angel's Grace. I can't mull this to 5. I would mull this if it was a 7, I think. But I will cycle this Lonely Sandbar. Kind of just hope that Font of Mythos doesn't fail. Because they can't really hand-hit it unless they have double bat. But they could just draw some cards and then Vindicate it, which is the fear with this. Okay, that's good. They can't play the Greater Oromancy though. I guess it doesn't really matter when I get it down. They're not going to take it with a bat. That's good for me if they do. They play a bat. I need to draw a land, preferably a white one. They take... What do they... They take Font, I think. I guess they do take Greater Oromancy. I mean, this hand is... These are both the same, so it doesn't really matter if you can't answer both fonts. I will not reveal that. They actually do really want to Vindicate land. Which would be a problem, just because it at least buys a turn. Well, not buying a turn really, it's more that I could not find a land potentially. Okay, they discard a vehicle probably. Hopefully they don't have one. Bitter Time, so they don't have a vehicle. Or they're just deciding not to discard it again. But that's really good for me. That means they can't Greasefang, which means their clock is going to be really slow. So I'm just hoping they don't have Vindicate in the top 12 cards of their deck. If they do, I can play another one, which is questionable because then they're drawing 4 cards before I draw any. But they are using a Vindicate if they do that. Tap land. This could definitely be a Vindicate. It is. And if they just have another Vindicate, I kind of just... I mean, I don't even lose because I have Well of Ideas still, which is like a better font in many ways, other than being expensive. Holy Day, that doesn't matter here. Unless they can actually Greasefang. Which would be really good for me, because that means they aren't Vindicating the font. So I really need them to not Vindicate. If they do, I need to find a land. If neither of those, if they Vindicate and I don't find a land, they kind of just win. That is not currently a Vindicate. That could be a Greasefang, which is fine by me. Because I'll probably draw a thing. Another fog off this. They have another Vindicate. That's a problem. Okay, now I can't actually stop Greasefang. I think it's not quite lethal because it's not a Parhelion. Actually, is it? They have 7 plus 6? That is lethal. Yeah, Greasefang is just lethal. Yeah, they have the double Vindicate. And yeah, I just can't beat Vindicate. So... I'm just dead, probably. Like, if they don't have... It's so unlikely they don't have Greasefang. I drew them 5 extra cards. Yeah, I really needed them to just not have 2 Vindicates. Yeah, I'm just dead. I mean, if I Vindicated their own land again, I would have won this. Yeah. Vindicate is really tough to beat when they draw multiple. It's just so bad when they Vindicate something like Font of Mythos. Yeah, that's the tournament. So I ended up 4-2, I believe. Second place. This deck is terrible, but it's interesting. And I mean, it's something to play when I don't want to play Azorius Control, I guess. I feel like it is definitely capable of winning a tournament. Like, it's absolutely terrible, but it's not that bad. It can steal games against any deck, and it actually beats Glimpse, which is really funny for a deck like this. A deck with a 250 cards and very few counter spells and like no combo interaction shouldn't really beat combo, but yeah, they just lose to fogs. They even beat Oops All Lands. So yeah, that's the tournament.